There are a lot of creative processes out there these days to help you drive innovation in your organization and in your life. You've got things like De Bono's lateral thinking, things like Kepner-Trago, Synectics. Design thinking is pretty popular these days. All of them can give you value, including things that aren't considered to drive innovation like Lean Six Sigma. Every one of them you can do a better job at and get more value from if you understand creative problem solving first. That's the real key. And so what we'll do is I'll take a little time to explain creative problem solving to you. I got some work to do in the shop, so let's head on over there and we'll get that work done and I'll explain the process. There are more than 60 years of research on creative problem solving. And so when we dig into that research and you pay attention to it, you can learn to do it better. There are 6 steps to the creative problem solving process. You already know these steps because they're in your DNA. But when we talk about them out loud, when we have the language to talk about them with each other, we can begin to learn to do a better job at each one. It's like walking. We all know how to walk. But if you work with somebody that helps you be more efficient in your walk or your run or your swim, you can do a better job of it. Creative problem solving's exactly the same thing. All you have to do is get the language right, begin to understand them a little bit more, and what'll end up happening is you can be more efficient in the use of them. And then what'll happen is you'll get better at it in general. There are 6 steps to the creative problem-solving process. The first one is to identify a goal or a wish to work on. So you might look at all the possible goals and wishes you have, and of those all, you pick one. It's a diverge, converge. It's a generate options and choose an option. So let's say that the goal or wish is something like, it would be great if I could keep warm this winter. I wish I could keep warm this winter. So what happens is you then gather data. You look at all the different ways to keep warm. What do you know? What do people around you do? What's their method for staying warm? What's their technique? And let's say that as you look at all that data, it seems to make the most sense to you, given the property you have and where you happen to be, that you're going to use the renewable resource of wood as a way to keep warm. Third step then is to figure out what the problem is you need to solve. So let's say that the problem I need to solve is that I need to figure out how to get the wood, because that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use wood. So I have to generate ideas. That's what I am going to do next, which is the 4th step. And so I'm generating different ideas about ways to get wood. I could break wood across my knees. I could go and buy it and have somebody deliver it to me, and I can supply it that way. I can learn to cut it myself. All these different things I want to explore. But let's say that I decide that I'm going to cut it myself. I converge down on that. So now I go to the 5th step. And what I do is I strengthen that solution. I have to figure out, well, what's great about that? What's not so great about that? And what do I need to do in order to be able to make sure I do that step well? I have to maybe take a class. I have to look for and buy chainsaws. I have to learn how to sharpen a chainsaw. All these kinds of things that I'm going to have to do to strengthen my solution of my going and cutting the wood myself. So that's the 5th. And then finally the 6th step is the action plan, where I say, okay, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and watch YouTube videos about how to use a chainsaw, or I'm going to go take a class. And second, I'm going to start talking to everybody about who makes the best chainsaws. And third, I'm going to go out and work with somebody else that's going to teach me how to do it. That's the final step, the plan for action. And so there are 6 steps that are necessary to review them. First one, you're going to have a goal or wish. Second one, what's going to happen is you gather data around that goal or wish. Third one, you're going to figure out what are all the problems that are getting in the way of you getting to that goal or wish. 4th step, you're going to generate ideas to overcome those core problems. 5th step, what you're going to do is you're going to figure out anything you can do to strengthen the idea that you pick. And 6th step, you're going to make a plan for action. You already know that. You already do that. But if you think about it out loud and you work with other people, you can strengthen your ability to do that. And then any of those creative processes that we've talked about, they work just dandy. Without knowing the creative problem-solving process, though, they're all a little bit more difficult to do. And why make it harder than it already is?